Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nicole. I own a photo booth business called Own the Moment Booth and an education platform called Own Your Moment Co, where I help photo booth entrepreneurs grow and scale their business sustainably. And I made an Instagram post based on an event I did with my photo booth business where we were outside. And so I try my very best to not do outdoor events. And sometimes it just happens. We live in Florida, and the temperature can be a lot. It can be chaotic, especially in the summer. You're guaranteed to have rain in the afternoons. And so I really try my best to not be outside because of weather. Also, it's just not comfortable to be outside. And it can do a lot of wear and tear and damage to your equipment. And so I want my equipment to last. And so all of that to say, I really try to only do outdoor events very, very sparingly. And if I do, I make sure I have very specific requirements in place and safety measures in place to make sure the guest experience is what it needs to be and how I want to represent my business. So I wanted to share with you some of my essentials that I bring to every outdoor event and why I think that they are essential. Let's start off the conversation with backdrops. Now, in outdoor events, first of all, I always require that there's a tent or some sort of covering. And this is for a multitude of reasons. The first reason is, obviously, you got to protect yourself, your equipment, just for your experience and to provide the experience that your customers and clients are paying for. You need to be in some sort of covering. And so your contract, by the way, should really detail and spell this out. If you don't have a contract, I have one in my shop, so it has you covered. Definitely having some sort of covering is very important for the weather. Second of all, it helps you control your image quality better. When you have variables in sunlight, it can just make the experience so much worse. And so having a cover at least helps you be able to adjust to the lighting situation a little bit better. So highly recommend some sort of tent. Either you own one or you just require it as something that your client provides. Okay, so we've established having some sort of covering is necessary. Now, there are some people who maybe live in California, maybe you don't have a lot of wind or you don't have a lot of rain, and maybe like being under a covering isn't as essential. Then, obviously do with that what you will and make that decision for yourself. But I will say, to help control with lighting, having a covering is really, really helpful. Moving forward, if I'm doing an outdoor event, I am also very, very picky with what kind of backdrop I am bringing. Something that is going to be a little bit more flowy is going to be better than any type of pillow backdrop, pillow style backdrop. Anything that's going to be a little bit more flowy, like a sequin or a curtain, anything like that is going to be a better choice than a pillow top style backdrop. And that's because these frames are really, really thin and light, and they're designed to be portable and transportable. So they're not designed to endure winds. They're not designed to endure wind. And so when you bring them outside, a gust of wind can knock it over easily. And so with that said, I try and discourage any type of backdrop style like that. Now, there are times where a client is insistent on a certain aesthetic and they really want a pillow top style backdrop. And that is where this comes in. This is the back prop. And what it's designed to do is to support your pillow top style backdrop frame. And it's really easy to set up. It comes with 2 poles that connect and grab onto the side of the frame. And then it comes with an anchor at the bottom that you drive stakes in to secure it. And then it has a bungee cord that attaches one side to the other side. And it really just adds that extra stability to make sure that your backdrop isn't going anywhere. Some extra protections that I add on top of that are base plate weights and sandbags. So this is a rubberized base plate weight. So you can see it has that little hole in the middle. So it tucks perfectly around my base plate. And so I'll use that to secure the bottom of my backdrop alongside the back prop. And then I'll have the sandbags that I'll put on the stakes that I put in the ground as well. I put a lot of precautions in making sure that my backdrop is not going to be a liability or fall on anyone or fall on my equipment or fly away or snap in half. There are a lot of possibilities and things that happen when you have this type of frame outside, which brings me to the next thing that I bring to kind of gauge the temperature outside and also the wind outside. And that's in here. This is a barometer, and I thought it was a barometer, but it's a anemometer. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that. But this is what it is. And what it does is it tracks the wind, and then it also tracks the temperature. So this is really cool. I've used it at a couple of my outdoor events, and this just helps me be a little bit more responsible. And again, there's still, even with the back prop, even with your weights and base plates and all of the protections, if it's windy outside, you have to tear it down. It's not safe. And there are limitations with how much wind the back prop can even support. I think it's 20-mile-an-hour gusts. I think that may be even too high. So what this meter provides is just a safety precaution. It just allows me to have data so I can prove, hey, we have exceeded our contracted terms of, wind speeds. It's not safe. We need to tear it down, or we need to change something. That way they can't get upset at you if you're doing it to keep everyone safe and keep the experience going. And the last thing that I absolutely bring for every event, besides backups, I bring backups of everything. So I even bring backup like frame, or even sometimes an alternative backdrop option in case of like extreme wind gusts. But the very last thing that I always bring is my favorite thing. This is the EcoFlow. It is a battery, and this powers, I have the Guac and Chips photo booth. This powers that photo booth for, we've done it for over 4 hours, and it still had a lot of juice left. It had like 30% left after 4 hours of print. So this is a really great machine, probably the best investment I've ever made for my business besides my cart. And it also it charges so fast. It's pretty crazy. I remember one time I forgot to charge it before I knew I wanted to bring it to an event, and I plugged it in, and while I was loading up my car, the 30 minutes I was spending loading my car, this thing was charged. It was really, really incredible. I don't recommend that. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Charge it ahead of time, plan ahead of time. But I was really impressed with how quickly this charged. This can be expensive, but I 1,000,000% recommend waiting for some sort of holiday sale, because this tends to go on sale during those times. I bought this at Black Friday. It was below $400. Typically it can run around $600. So keep an eye out for this. I bring this to every event now as a backup power system. I require that I be placed next to an outlet in my contract, but it's always nice to have a backup. And so having this has just been really helpful for me. So highly recommend that you grab this whenever you can. Okay, and I cannot lift up and show you my cart, but I will show you a picture of my cart or show you in action. But my cart is my down pat favorite purchase I've ever made. I have the Rock and Roller Cart R12. I have the all-terrain one, which is really, really helpful when you are going on gravel, going on rocks, anything like that where it's going to be hard to navigate. It is so helpful. This is the cart that you can literally load everything on and do one trip. I love the challenge of loading up the cart in one trip, and you can absolutely do it with this. There are no multiple trips. It's my favorite thing. The best money I've ever spent, and I've had the same one for almost 4 years now. So 100% recommend a really high quality cart. It's gonna cost you, but it is well worth the investment. So that is a rundown of my basic main purchases. If you are doing an outdoor event, you have to get these things. Other things that are really helpful are bug spray. If you're outside, there's gonna be bugs, so be ready. Sometimes I'll even spray my backdrop with a bug spray. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. Just remember, if you have a backdrop and you've got light, you're gonna attract bugs. So keep that into consideration whenever you're planning your outdoor events. I'm literally looking around my office trying to let you know what else I think you should have. And then some other little extras. The last event that my team did, they requested spray deodorant. I was like, done, I can do that for you. Making sure you're hydrated, and sunscreen. Oh, and handheld fans have been really great. My team's really loved handheld fans that are like battery rechargeable. All of the things that you've seen today, I have in my Amazon shop under outdoor events. And there's other things in there too that I think are really, really helpful when you do outdoor events. So that's a rundown of what I prep and what I bring for my outdoor events. And so if this has been helpful for you, let me know please in the comments below. If you have more questions or need a little bit more insight or explanation onto something, please let me know. I'm happy to answer that. And I'll see you guys on the next video.